Hey Siri, order the destruction of the modern world as we know it. This is the Apple Vision Pro VR headset. This video is geared towards those of us who have yet to experience virtual reality, who aren't gamers, who aren't invested in the VR world, who maybe have never even owned a VR headset. This is my first VR headset. And there's a lot to talk about in this review, and there's a lot of things to go over. And if you're a fan of my videos, you'll know that I don't talk about specs, I don't talk about nitty-gritty details, I talk about user experience. And this headset is designed around user experience, and that's entirely what this video focuses on. If you want to learn more about what the band is made of, or how many megabytes and gigabytes are inside this, and how many cameras are inside this, this is not the review for you. This review focuses on what Apple has put into this to make it a truly dynamic and unique experience. So strap in, stand by, it's a long one, watch along, and let me know what you think at the end. So one of the first things you notice about the Vision Pro is the build quality and how premium the device feels both in your hand and on your face. And the more you look at it and the more you use it, you realize just how much thought and detail went into the design of this product. It's something that Steve Jobs would be proud of. It's something that Apple has spent a ton of money on research and design to implement in their first generation product. I must say, the first time I put this on and my first experience with VR was when the Apple Hello welcome screen appears on the Vision Pro and you hear the startup chime from the old days of the Macintosh computer. And honestly, that gave me goosebumps because it was such a surreal experience to be immersed in the VR world and to just see how stunning the display is on the Vision Pro and to sort of be reminded of the Apple ecosystem that you're so familiar with and sort of have a nostalgia for. Really well done and truly allows you to get this wonderful feel-good emotion out of this headset. So what we're looking at is my desktop and a clean view out of the Vision Pro. Now if I reach up to the top and I press the digital crown once, I'm going to get the heads-up display for my Vision Pro. On the left side, I have some shopping open in the Decathlon app. I'm looking at some gravel bikes. In front of me, I have a work Safari browser, so I'm doing some work there. Behind me to the right, off to the side, I have my email. And then over here to the further right, I have my messages. And if I turn my head slowly all the way around, there's nothing behind me. But in theory, I could put Windows behind me there. Another way to complicate things and to add even more features would be to add my desktop to the Vision Pro as well. And if you see that window come up, I can hit connect. And what it's going to do is it's going to now put my desktop in my view as well. So I'm going to move it back over this way. Now the desktop runs using my mouse, right? So as I move my mouse around, that controls the desktop. However, as I move, and in fact, what happens is you can move that mouse across windows, right? So I can move that, see how it goes over to the mail, and now it goes over here. So it's this sort of seamless transition between desktop and Vision Pro, which you can use or you can simply not use, right? If I disconnected my Vision Pro, if I disconnected my desktop, I wouldn't need the mouse. I could simply use my fingers. But the fingers and eye movements, while they work well, they're not always 100% reliable because it requires you to look specifically at individual things. So like if we look at this Furnish Finder window, right? My eyes are looking at Stephanie, now Audrey, now Cheney, now favorites, now account. But if I go up here, sometimes it can jump. Like if I try and look at tenant leads, it's not doing that, but profile does. Messages, it's very difficult to get to that tenant leads one for whatever reason. So I've found that sometimes is a little bit challenging to get exactly where your eyes need to go. But in general, it's very, very good. And your eye movements, you can see Republic, USGS, LinkedIn, Patagonia, Jefferson Hills all the way down, chat, mailbox, Gmail, over, property, housing, search, resources, edit. It's very, very good, and it's very fast, and it's very reliable. Everything I look at tends to be very quick, very seamless, with almost no lag at all between your eyes and your hands, assuming your eyes land on the correct thing and assuming Vision Pro finds the correct thing for you to look at in terms of where your eyes are supposed to be. So with my desktop here, getting back to this, right? Let's say I wanted to close that out and go back to working on my computer. I can close that. It's going to relaunch it back here on my desktop, right? And so I still have the ability to work here and work in the virtual world over here if I choose to do that. And now I'm back to only using my fingers and eyes. I can no longer use my mouse in the Vision Pro. One final thing I'm going to talk about is that you can see that my surrounding right now is my home, right? And so if I want to work or view content or shop for gravel bikes in my house, I can do that. But the really neat thing about this is that you can turn on what Apple calls environments by rotating the digital crown and then turning on the environment and the level of detail that you want to be all around you. And so this is Mount Hood, Oregon. And so if I go ahead and close some of this, you can kind of get away and see what I'm looking at. And so I can read my email in Mount Hood and have this incredible, peaceful serenity 360 degrees around me. Complete view, up and down, all around, and sort of just work in this relaxing area. My desktop, and again, I'm working with the mouse in front of me. You can see my hand here. You can't see the computer because it's masqueraded by Vision Pro. But I can work in my computer in Mount Hood. I can also make this bigger, and I can also move it back a little bit. So now I have this, what looks like a 500-inch display in front of me, in addition to Vision Pro apps off in the periphery. But if I'm a qualified typist, I can type by putting my hands on the keyboard, and then, right, you get the idea. But what's so incredible about this is the seamless transition back and forth between the full desktop experience and Vision Pro. So if I close this, go back to my Vision Pro apps, right, I can jump back into Safari and resume what I was doing. I can move this over here. I can go back and I can shop for my gravel bikes again, right? Seamless, absolutely seamless between environments, between virtual environment and desktop environment. And what just an incredible way to work and play and be immersed in a new world. I mean, this is the new reality. And I'm still digesting all of what it is and all of what it means for both work and entertainment combined. It's incredible. There's no other way to put it. We're looking at an example of the human heart here. Now, I'm not a physician, but I am a scientist. And being able to see and visualize details, as well as zoom in and see areas of detail, whether it's a model such as this or a real world scan, and the ability to look at it in three-dimensional space, as well as manipulate it in a way that can only be done sort of with three-dimensional goggles or with three-dimensional software. I mean, it feels like you can practically reach out and touch this. It's just unbelievable, the detail with the 4K resolution and the ability to quickly and easily manipulate the structure. Again, no lag, no delays. This looks like it is in front of me and looks like I could reach out and touch it. Another incredible application is three-dimensional real estate, 360 tours. If we open Zillow, I'm going to look at the $649,000 Shades Crest Road, and I'm going to go into floor plan. You can see this floor gives me the photo points, and I can move my head up and stand over here and look at this from a top-down view, which is nuts. I can bring this closer to me and sort of manipulate this around to see the floor plan. I can then look at these individual dots. You can see my vision looking at the dots, and then pick the dot like the bedroom. Right? This changes. If I go over here, I'm not sure why that picture didn't load, but let's go back to exit. Let's look at 360 tour. Okay. Let's choose where we're going to go. So for example, if I want to go to the inside and go into the foyer, I can go in the foyer and look around. And now I can even expand this to be 360 degrees. Ooh, that makes me dizzy. The only thing about this that is not 100% correct is the scale is a little bit wrong. So one of the other standout features of Vision Pro, in my opinion, is the ability to have it be aware spatially of where not only you are, but where the windows and content that you place are. And so for example, if I'm working in a browser window and I have my email open over here, and I want to say, let's say watch a sports game, Super Bowl, basketball, whatever, or YouTube video, let's come up here, right? Going to click there. It's going to bring up the on-screen keyboard. You can see my eyes looking at the letters J, N, B, V, C, D, E, right? I could actually type on this by going like this and typing in U, right? Tube. Or I could use Siri by going over here, YouTube, right? Or I could actually come back and I can look at the keyboard and type if I wanted to as well. It's just incredible how seamless and how smooth and how fast this works. But for right now, let's just get back to what we were talking about and go to YouTube. And so I'm going to click on Depeche Mode, which is this really cool song from the 80s if you haven't heard it before. I'm going to silence the ad while we wait for it to happen, but I'm going to go here. I'm going to hit skip. Let's turn the music back on. I'm going to make it full screen, okay? And it's full screen in that window, and I'm going to move it over here. So it's a little bit off center, and then I'm going to move my work back over here. Now, what you can't tell by being in sort of the YouTube land is when I have this window open, the audio from that window is over on this side of me, right? So it's only playing on the right speaker, and when I turn like this, it plays on the left speaker, so it's totally aware of my surroundings and what I'm doing. And so as I get up and as I move, that window stays there, right? All the windows stay there, and I can work with and interact with everything here. But what's super trippy is if I go and I walk up to this, I can walk through the plane of the video, which is just insane. And I can turn around, right? And it's not there, but I can see my other windows, and I can actually still manipulate those other windows once I get back over here. I can move this way. I can grab this and move this way. And then I can come back and I can look at my music video. And I can adjust this and scrub it. All right here. Just insane. Insane the spatial awareness and the spatial ability of Vision Pro to be able to tell what's going on and where you are in the room, right? And if I want, I can then just say, I'm done with work. Let me close all this stuff. I'm just going to chill out and relax with Depeche Mode over here. And I'm going to do that at Lake Hood. So I'm going to turn my environment back on. And now let's enjoy some Depeche Mode while we sit and enjoy the scenery of Lake Hood. Just unbelievable. And so when I initially went into this review, I was thinking to myself, I don't have a need for this device. I don't want to be in VR. I work perfectly fine with my laptop. I don't game. Why do I need it? And after using it for the past week, I'm really left with a feeling of this is the future. This is the Generation 1 smartphone. This is the Generation 1 laptop. This is a device that is going to change reality for everyone. If you haven't read Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, do yourself a favor and read it. Don't watch the movie. The movie's different than the book. In the book, they talk about a dystopian future where everyone wears VR goggles because the world around them is so terrible and unlivable. And it really terrifies me that this is the first step in that direction because of how good and how close to perfect the experience is inside the Vision Pro. It's that good. Is it useful? That's an argument that can be made. I don't find it particularly useful. I think it's a wonderful and amazing tool for those that can A, afford it at $3,500, and B, justify the use in how they bring this device into their daily life. However, with the adoption of VR and the more apps that are made and the more environments that are created and the better the experience gets, it is very easily and very quickly going to suck people into it, using it full time. And we are headed down a path of unchangeable, one-way technology that is going to change the daily life of people from here on out. And it's a little terrifying. I'm still trying to process how VR could fit into my life in a useful, non-destructive way that doesn't alienate me from time away with friends, time away with family, my daily social routine. It's that good, and it's that scary, and it's that immersive. And up until now, I never thought VR would be for me. And the moment I put it on was similar to the moment I first used an iPhone, where it was this like click and aha, and this is the next future. This is the next reality. This is the next thing that people are going to use on a daily basis. And we're here right now with VR, thanks to Apple and the Vision Pro. Now, there's a lot of other VR headsets on the market. I haven't used them. I can't compare them. What I do know is that Apple has nailed the experience on this device, and it's only going to get better from here on out. And that's a little scary. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Again, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.